think that, he's been relentless in his attacks on President Trump? He's not afraid to do that. He's called out other presidential candidates who haven't been as zealous doing so. But, of course, that's a popular and a strong base within the party, no matter what you think of Donald Trump. Do you think that hurts him in the longer term, or that he's alienating himself? I mean, some of these popularity polls that come up within the Republican Party, respected though he might be, that attack line hurts him.
Yeah, well, first, I mean, Chris Christie is always someone that calls it as he sees it, right? I think that's his strength. That's where he's most comfortable. And I think that the American public appreciate that.
It is time to come together and make sure that Donald Trump is the next president of the United States.
Chris Christie is always someone that calls it as he sees it.
I don't give a shit like you don't give a shit. We're a match made in hell is plain to see. I don't give a shit about you. You don't give a shit about me.
But when it comes down to it, I believe if you're president, every day you wake up and you ask yourself what's best for the country, and whether that's good for you politically or personally, has to come behind that. And that's my biggest objection to Donald Trump, is that he's never put the country before himself, ever.
Do you think Donald Trump gives a fuck what you think? No.
And that's my biggest objection to Donald Trump, is that he's never put the country before himself, ever.
There is no one who is better prepared to provide America with the strong leadership that it needs, both at home and around the world, than Donald Trump.
I'm a very realistic guy, and I'll make the decision based upon what I think my real chances are. But I got to tell you, I think that there is a large part of our party that quietly, in a whispered tone, has had enough.
What Donald Trump is about the people of this country. And the person who will do exactly what needs to be done to make America a leader around the world again. He'll provide strong, unequivocal leadership. He will do what needs to be done to protect the American people, first and foremost, both in the homeland and in creating jobs for this country. And he will make sure that people around the world know that America keeps its word again. Donald Trump is someone who, when he makes a promise, he keeps it.
Let me ask you some quick campaign questions.
Sure.
In that recent Monmouth poll, not only did 69% of Republicans say that Donald Trump was the best candidate in the general election against Joe Biden, but 55% didn't want you. How do you run with that? Isn't your message, your anti-Trump message, really jeopardizing, sabotaging your campaign?
I believe as we continue to make this argument and more evidence comes forward, which it will, over the course of time about Donald Trump's conduct, and when I examine and let people examine his failures as president. He didn't build the wall.
I've just come from the Arizona border, where we marked the completion of over 220 miles of brand new, beautiful border wall.
He didn't build the wall.
I was just given a beautiful picture of the wall. That's before and after. And it's quite a difference. One area you walk over, you drive over, you do whatever you want, and the other one you say, well, I guess we don't get in.
He didn't build the wall.
Done a great job. We're up to 212, more than that now, about 220, but over 212 miles, and we'll be very close to 500 miles by the end of the year.
He said he was going to build a big, beautiful wall across the entire border of Mexico. In 4 years, he built 52 miles of new wall.
A ceremony in Texas today commemorates 400 miles of new border wall constructed under President Trump. The milestone comes less than a week before the election, and the president is using it as a reminder to voters that he's keeping his promises.
He said he was going to build 52 miles of new wall in 4 years.
In 4 years, he built 52 miles of new wall.
We've built now over 400 miles of border wall, southern border.
It's a claim both lauded and villainized. But how accurate is it? According to CBP figures, 371 miles of new wall had gone up as of earlier this month, with the government adding about 5 miles of wall per week.
Yeah, this idea that it's just a replacement, at best it's misguided, at worst it's a complete, flat-out lie.
If he continues at that pace, if he got reelected, he'd only need 110 more years as president to build the whole wall. So we're going to continue to make that argument because it's the truth.
So we can verify that under President Trump, 400 miles of new border wall, or close to that number, have been constructed.
You know, he said he was going to repeal and replace Obamacare. He had Republican majorities in both houses. He failed to do it.
First of all, I've already done something that nobody thought was possible. Through the legislature, I terminated the individual mandate. That is the worst part of Obamacare, as we call it. The individual mandate where you have to pay a fortune for the privilege of not having to pay for bad health insurance. I terminated. It's gone.
He repeated the lie that the election was stolen, and we know that it was not.
They rigged the presidential election in 2020. We're not going to allow them to rig the presidential election of 2024. They used COVID to cheat.
So it's not just about what he's done personally. It's what he failed to do as president.
I had the safest border in the history of our country, and we will do it again, and we'll get it done very quickly.
At the end of the day, I've made my position on Donald Trump's performance and his prospects clearer than any Republican candidate in this race by a factor of 100.
Together we will crush crooked Joe Biden, the most crooked president in the history of our country by far, and also grossly incompetent, doesn't know what he's doing. He's destroying our country. We will win the election big, and we will make America great again.
Well, I'm sorry, Neil, that I'm telling the truth.
And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American. I ain't never gonna pretend that I give a damn. Anybody who's offended, come get it, we throwing hands. Anybody not trying to make America great again. You a punk, you a clown, better know where I stand. I'm a white boy with the middle fingers in the air, dog. We don't give a what. 100 white boys gonna hold me down anywhere, dog. We think that you suck. My patriots the craziest, they ain't afraid of breaking fists on faces. If you really wanna taste of this, no safety tip, just aim the stick and spray the clip. I pray you miss, cause if you don't, they gon' go wacko. Automatic gun smoke like tobacco. Never hit a lady, but it's pretty hard to tell if you're a girl or a they, them, there's these, that, those. I ain't never gonna take a knee for the anthem, smack them. I don't give a damn, can't stand them. Gang